Hi, I'm curious.
Okay, my question to you is...
One question I have for our future presidents is...
You've got questions, we'll get them answered. We've invited the presidential candidates to answer 6 questions on video sent in by young Singaporeans.
My little garden at home.
The food is great. Superb bak chor mee.
The candidates will take turns to go first, but they've only got 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer. And if they run out of time, I'll step in to stop them. This is Ask the Next President Anything. You will notice that we only have 2 candidates here, and that's because unfortunately Mr Tan Kin Lian has declined our invitation to come on. But the show must go on. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go. All right, our first question is from Danny.
President Halimah Yacob, Tony Tan, and Sir Nathan were great leaders for Singapore, but had different personalities and leadership styles, and contributed to different causes for our nation. If you were elected as the next president of Singapore, what can we as Singaporeans and residents of Singapore expect from you as our 9th president to represent the nation?
I want to be known as a compassionate president. I want to be known as the meditating president, because my meditation has helped me to become more peaceful, more energetic, and more sympathetic, to the interests of all Singaporeans, especially to the younger generation and low-income Singaporeans. So I feel that as president, I would like the people of Singapore to know that I will be their friend at the Istana. I will be able to protect our financial reserves. I will be able to uphold the integrity of our public service. And most importantly, I will be a unifying figure for all the people of Singapore, because I'm a non-partisan president. I will do Singapore proud, especially at home, but also internationally.
I would like to be a president who is myself. My life is an open book. People know me. They know how I feel for people. And I feel very strongly about how we should all feel for each other. I will be a president who promotes actively a culture of respect for every Singaporean. And I will be a president who flies the Singapore flag high internationally. We must be taken seriously internationally, never be regarded as a small country. And of course, I will be a president who will make sure that the reserves are governed wisely in the interests not just of today's generation, but future generations. And I'm a president who, because of my experience, will never be fooled on any matter to do with the reserves or on governance. I can never be fooled on the matter. But finally, I'll be a president with a heart for every disadvantaged group. Respect everyone, never look down on anyone, and make sure that no Singaporean is a nobody.
All right, we've got question 2. This is from Clara.
So people say that the president is just a figurehead. What are your views on that?
Well, our whole system is designed so that the president has executive powers on some issues. In other words, the president can decide on some issues, and the president has to follow the advice of cabinet on other issues. The president has to represent Singapore in a ways that doesn't just reflect his or her own views, but reflects the interests of Singapore. But on some issues, the president does have his own decision-making powers. And on those issues, they are not minor powers, they are major powers to do with reserves, to do with the appointment of key public officials. The president has to consult a council of presidential advisors, but the president has say and will be taken very seriously. Of course, it helps if the president knows his stuff has the experience and expertise to be able to make independent judgments and isn't simply reading a brief from the Council of Presidential Advisors. It helps greatly if the President has independence of mind, has the knowledge, and the ability to stand his ground. Those are three very important requirements: independence of mind, knowledge and expertise, and being able to stand your ground. That's critical.
The elected President of Singapore is more than just a figurehead. Of course, the President has ceremonial roles, such as the Queen of England, the King of England now, and the President also has the role of unifying the people of Singapore, such as what the King of England, the King of Britain has. But the elected President in Singapore is very special because of two key responsibilities of the President. The first is to protect our hard-earned financial reserves, to make sure that the reserves which we have accumulated over a long period of time are not misspent or squandered. I don't think any other president or head of state in other countries have got this responsibility. And the second important and unusual role of the elected president in Singapore is to uphold the integrity of the public service. This is also a very unique responsibility of our president. So the elected president is not just a figurehead.
Moving on to question 3, and this one's from Benjamin.
How has your experiences in your youth helped shape you into the leader you are today?
I grew up as a very poor boy in a family of 5 brothers and 5 sisters. I knew what it is like to be poor. At the age of 18, my father lost his job, and I had to work part-time when I was studying in university to support my family. So from a very young age, I learned responsibility. And leadership is about taking responsibility. It is not just an exercise of power. We have a responsibility, as I had, to my family. And when I started working, I realized that I had a responsibility for the people that I serve, the people who work with me. So leadership is not just about myself, it is about others. So I feel that those life experiences in childhood and during my time when I was working has prepared me to take on the responsibility of being the President of Singapore.
Well, I was actually made by my experiences in youth. I was made for life by my experiences in youth. And sports, more than anything else, made me for life. I played sports virtually every day of the year, sometimes 2 sports a day, a practice and a competitive match. And it really shaped the way I thought, the way I related to other people, and the way I treated the realities of life, that you take knocks, you keep falling down, and you got to bring yourself up. Most importantly, sports taught me how to respect every member of the team. Some people are good at some things, some people are good at some other things. Some are wonderful on the wings, some are wonderful in defense. But you've got to respect everyone. And respect the reserves who are waiting on the sidelines, hoping they'll have a chance to play. And because I was often a captain, I'd always make sure our reserves had a chance to take part in competitive matches. I learned to respect my opponents through sports, because you never keep winning. You never keep winning. You can train the entire year, you reach the finals, and you lose. And you must know how to lose graciously, and you must know how to win graciously. So sports taught me so much of what has lasted through my life. I'll never give it away for anything. And I'm still at heart a sportsman in my mind.
All right. Before we move on to question 4, how's everyone? Everyone okay?
Very good.
Great.
Great. We're moving on to question 4. That's by Zheng Yu.
I'm Yu, and one question I have for the future president is, with the rising mental health issues among the youths, what can the future president do to address this issue?
Well, this is in fact a serious issue. It's a serious issue, by the way, all over the world, but it's a serious issue in Singapore. I think the first thing we have to do is, both for parents and kids, don't be so stressed when the kids are young. Don't stress the kids out. Give them time to play, give them free time. Don't spend so much time on preparing for examinations. The whole system has to help. The government is making changes in the education system to de-stress the system. I think parents and kids have to realize that life is a long game. It's a long game. You may not be number 1 or even number 5 in school, but life is a long game. You can keep learning and keep improving. So when we are young, we've got to broaden ourselves, have a range of enjoyable experiences, make friends, and don't let stress build up in our system. I believe that's very important. Enjoy ourselves when we are young. Life is meant to be carefree when we are young, and we've got to be able to unwind our system so that we go back to those days when life was carefree. We'd be much better off in life if that was the case.
Mental health issues arise when our youth feels that they have to conform, they have to comply, they have to perform to the expectations of their parents, their teachers, and their peers. And so I think social media has a lot of advantages, but it also has the downside of requiring our youth to look good, to appear good in the eyes of their peers. So I feel that one good way for our children to be themselves is to practice meditation, mindfulness, because I have discovered from my own experience that that has helped me to be myself, to let go of images that I would like to portray to other people, or even images that I create for myself. So it's very important for all our children, our youth, to have confidence in themselves. So I think meditation is perhaps the best way that I have learned of addressing mental health issues.
All right, next, question 5 by Haja.
How will you handle the situation like corruption by our politicians?
The elected president was specially designed to deal with the problem of possible corruption among our politicians. The spending of our reserves, the squandering of our reserves by a corrupt prime minister, such as what we have seen in other countries. The corruption of our public service by the appointment of friends or favored businessmen. That is corruption, and that is violating the integrity of the public service. It was precisely to prevent corruption in our political system that the elected president was set up. So if I come across a situation where I suspect corruption in the spending of our reserves, when I suspect corruption in appointing untrustworthy people to key public service positions, I will object. I will exercise my veto.
Corruption is like cancer. Starts off very small, might appear to be small indiscretions, but it can only grow if you don't tackle it early. And the whole Singapore system, starting with what Mr. Lee Kuan Yew and his colleagues put in place in the old days, is still absolutely critical to our future. We must be a different country. We must be a special country where zero corruption is the order of the day. And that involves the Prime Minister and it involves the President. If the Prime Minister does not allow a corruption investigation to proceed, the President has to be there to tell the director of the CPIB, Corrupt Practices Investment Board, go ahead, regardless. Politicians in particular stand for the entire system. If a politician is corrupt, in small ways or big, it corrupts the whole system. So the President has to be especially sensitive to any indiscretion that involves personal gain by politicians. System has worked quite well so far. No Prime Minister has ever denied a request by the Director of CPIB for an investigation. But you never know in future. The President is always there.
All right, now for question 6 from Aisha.
I was wondering that if you become president, how will you be celebrating?
Well, first, of course, I make no assumptions as to whether I'm going to win this contest. Never let over-optimistic assumptions get to your head. We've got 1 week left in this contest. I take that 1 week very seriously, and I hope every Singaporean will vote for me. If I do win, if I'm lucky enough to win, I'll basically celebrate the way I've always done. Just meet up with every volunteer and friend who's been helpful in some way, have a good laugh, talk about all the stumbles we made, talk about all the things that we did well, and just talk about ourselves. Friendship and love for each other is what keeps us going through life, through the ups and downs. I've been through downs before. I've been through major downs, but it's the friendship of close friends, associates, that kept me going. And when I do well, I return it. We are all together. And that's the way to celebrate. Celebrate with each other, the goodness in each other. Never mind how great you feel at that moment. It's the goodness in each other.
If I become the president with the help of the people of Singapore, the first thing I would celebrate is that we have had an election for the elected presidency. We should celebrate that we have been able to honor the office of the president by not having a walkover. And whether it's Mr. Tharman or myself who have the fortune of being elected president, we would have been elected president with a mandate from the people. So that is cause for celebration. I would also celebrate by thanking everyone, all the people of Singapore, for making me so happy in the last 7 days and in the days to come, because I can feel that my efforts to come forward has been appreciated. And I will celebrate by kneeling down and thinking of my mother who cried when I was a 12-year-old boy with no money to buy school books. I would like to celebrate by remembering my mother and say, Mom, your son has become the president of Singapore.
This is the end of all of our questions, but I feel like if I could ask everyone in the studio to applaud for all of their questions and answers.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Great answer. Thank you.
That's the end of all of our questions. So thank you so much for being here and for giving us your lovely answers. And I'm going to wrap off by saying if you have watched this video to the end and would like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can do that. And if you don't want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, that's okay, I won't make you. And now we're going to say bye to everyone, so let's wave.
Thank you. Thank you.